One thing I wanted to talk to you tonight about is three different forms of publishing. Everybody has concepts and ideas about which one is best for them or why they hate this one or why they hate that one. This one's dirty. This one's the best. This one means the most to me. So I figured, as a publisher of books, an independent publisher, a hybrid publisher, I'll tell you, this is what I do. Contracts are different. I base them on what services an author could need. I look at a work and say, this story needs more development. Maybe they need a coach. Maybe they need a ghostwriter. Maybe they need more editing. Maybe they need cover design. Maybe they need confidence so they can write the story. There's three forms of publishing, basically. There's traditional, there's self-publishing, and then there's a hybrid and independent, however you want to describe it. So I'll go through all three. And in any industry, there's good and bad. I can take you to bad mechanics, bad lawyers, bad restaurants. I'm sure you can think while I'm talking, you can say, that place had terrible food. That place was dirty. You're always going to come across those kind of places. In the publishing world, this is my advice to you. You have to find the form of publishing that works best for you. We all have different needs. So if you needed a book in the next 90 days because you have to speak before Congress or something like that, well, then there's only certain ways to do it. It just can't be. Okay, if you said I need the lowest cost possible book, the lowest possible cost per unit, well, there's only certain publishing options that would work for you. I need somebody that really helps me because I'm not a good writer. You would need somebody else. I have this business that's been super successful and I want to share those tips, but I'm not a writer. I have this idea. I have this mission. I have whatever. You have these ideas, these concepts, and then you have to figure out what form of publishing fits your needs the best. So people will say, this is the way you got to go, or stay away from that, or I did it myself. Okay, all great. So you have traditional, you have hybrid and independent, or you have complete self-publishing. So we'll start with self-publishing because that's the rage right now. Everybody can do it. That's what people say. Everybody can do it. You can learn how to do it if you have time, if you have computers and story and things like that. You can learn how to do it, and you can upload books on Amazon. Great. You might have friends that are in editing. You might know a guy that makes great covers, and you're a magnificent writer off the bat that doesn't need it, that it just can weave and tell a beautiful story. Then, so maybe traditional publishing is for you. So you take this route and say, I can do it all myself. Well, I'm assuming if you can do it all yourself, it might take some time. You choose self-publishing, you're still going to have to learn and do work. So how long does that work? How long does it take you to learn how to format, to find the right editor, to find that friend that can design covers? When do you need this by? Do you have that much time? Self-publishing, you keep a larger portion of your royalties, which is great. Sometimes a traditional publisher, they can take rights. And then even the hybrids and the independents, you got to watch, you got to read all these contracts because sometimes the hybrids or the independents, some people call those vanity, sometimes a vanity press, which is separate. A vanity press is, I consider vanity people that are taking a percentage of your royalties. And why are they taking it? And how long are they taking it? Is it in perpetuity? So that's what you got to watch. But back to that self-publishing your book. So you self-publish this book and you upload all the files and things like that. Now, you've been working hard and you have a brand, you've had a business for years, and you self-publish this book. And sometimes I knew a person that published a book on their own, and this is how it came out. This then. So here they put out a book and they believed in their story and they told their story, but they didn't know how to format. They didn't know what they were doing. And they put out that funny little book. And so they thought here they are sharing their story for the first time, self-published their book. And because they didn't know what they were doing, they put out an inferior product. So when you have a brand, when you have a business, when you self-publish, complete self-publish, you have to make sure that you're not hurting the brand. So self-publishing can be very inexpensive, or it could be the most expensive thing you ever do. So watch. So now we covered self-publishing. Now let's go to a traditional publisher. One of these big five, Simon & Schuster, Crown, whoever, Penguin, Random House, whoever these people that you identify as the publisher of your choice. I say You can send query letters to publishers working in your genre and say, hey, if I used the example fishing or fishing hooks the other day, so I'll use it again. I wrote a book about fishing, and so you find publishers looking for books about fishing. Maybe there are. Maybe right now there's publishers looking for books on fishing. So you send your query letters, you write that manuscript, you send your query letters, and maybe a traditional publisher says, hey, you know what? I am looking for a book on fishing hooks right now. They look you up and they're like, in their query letter, they ask for a marketing plan. You have a marketing plan. And they say, wow, this is so good. I'm going to give this person $10,000 and I'm going to help them market it. Or I'm going to give this person a publishing deal and I'm going to pay them in advance and give them $10,000. That could happen. So send the query letters and all that. And maybe that happens. Now, in that, when they give you the $10,000, it's a business. So they're taking they're going to tell you how that story about fishing ends. They're taking royalties on that book forever in perpetuity, and it could still work out. But they make you buy books at a cost, and how much does each book cost you? You don't get paid for about 100 days each time you sell a book. Can you buy books from them? So these are some things that, oh, traditional publishing is great. For some people, yes, for some people it is. Now let's talk about a business owner, a coach, or something like that, that has thousands of followers or is speaking weekly or has a business and they say, hmm, if I wrote a book, this book could be a business card for my business. This book, if I wrote a good book, this could help me get more clients. I do X amount of speeches. Maybe if I had a book to sell afterwards, I could make more money every time I gave a speech. So in that case, that business owner would be looking for a lower cost book. So they don't necessarily need this traditional model because they already have a clientele. They already have a mailing list or something where they, let's say day one, they know, hey, this many people are going to buy my book. So they're not looking for somebody else to promote them because a lot of times in any of these self-traditional hybrid, you'll find out you're doing a lot of marketing on your own. It all comes down to, at the end of the day, it does come down a lot to your effort as well. So back to this hybrid model, hybrid, independent, one, read all these contracts, but you have to make sure, you have to see, okay, am I willing to put money up? Does me putting money up buy me something worthy? Does it, can this be done faster than when I completely self-published? Can it be done better than when I said completely self-published? What if I have a book that I find so valuable? I do fantasy. Let's say you write a book about fantasy and you have this following. You might say, or you're building a following, or you have a blog. You might say, I don't need somebody to market me. I don't need to pay somebody a percentage of my royalties to market me. And that's where all of a sudden this hybrid model becomes more enticing to that person. I don't need somebody to market me or I don't need them to market me as much. So you're telling me I could pay a certain amount and then all of a sudden I own my rights. Nobody's taking a cut. I tell you how the story ends and it's wrapped up in a bow and ready for me. That could be a hybrid model for you. But with any of these, I'm not partial to one or the other. I'm saying do the research and figure out which one suits you best. Because what somebody tells you and what your needs are could be completely different. Read the contract, figure out your needs. I think it comes down to this with any of these three forms of publishing. First, you figure out your why. You know your why. And figure out why you're doing this. Once you get past that, okay, then you have to look at timeline. Do I need this by a certain date? Is it conceivable to wait longer? How would this happen? What does that timeline look like? Your finances, your ability, all these things play a factor, and what works best for you. So it comes down to that, and I wish you only the best out there. The world needs your story, your unique story. So get out there and share it by whatever means necessary.